There's so much to talk about. So I missed out on Warhammer Wednesday, so we'll do some Warhammer hobbying today. But oh man, there's just so much going on this week. If you haven't, so the Invincible show, the Invincible cartoon, is on. Yes, thank you, Aaron. The Invincible cartoon is on Amazon Prime. It debuted last night, but technically it's today on Invincible Friday. I watched the first 2 episodes. There are 3 of them up, and it's pretty great. It's very close to a. Well, let me say it's a very faithful retelling of the comic book. They have changed a couple of minor things here and there, which is fine. But like I said, yeah, it's very, very faithful. Which means also that the tone shifts immensely from fun teen high school comedy to brutal R-rated superhero action and violence and gore. So be prepared if you're not sure what you're getting into. Great voice cast, solid animation. So yeah, I recommend. There are a handful of Invincible toys out there. Yeah, and they changed a couple of, or they didn't include some of like the sight gags from the comic, but I'm like, all right, that's fine. That's okay. So yeah, there are a couple of Invincible toys out there. They did a couple through the actual comic book company, and essentially they did Invincible in his 2 main colors. Each one had a bloody variant. Same with an Adam Eve. They did their mini mates. The littlest one and I, we got our nails done yesterday. Pretty colors. So there were basically 3 action figures in this series, each one with a bloody variant, and then there are some mini mates and some, and there was a HeroClix set as well. I'm trying to think of. Oh, and then they also, in addition to the mini mates, I think they also did the larger Vinny mates for Invincible, maybe an Omni-Man. I'm not sure. But they have announced that there is going to be a new action figure line. They've only showed off Invincible and Omni-Man because that's who's going to start every action figure line. Unfortunately, the new one, I don't remember the exact details, but I think they're like 8-inch figures for $30 or something, and I was disappointed because Invincible is a property that I think would be best suited to smaller scale figures. Like this one, or even smaller, like 3 3/4 inches would be awesome because there are a ton of characters, a ton of army builders you could make. Give us smaller, cheaper figures, not like really big action figures that don't come with any accessories or optional stuff, and then have it be so expensive. But anyway, that's my preference. So yes, Invincible, that's the thing. If you haven't, I will start hobbying while I talk. Right, Tiny Chris? Exactly. This morning, if you haven't seen it yet, there's a new trailer. It's a teaser trailer, but it's a trailer for. Oh, Arsenal Roy, that's awesome. I hadn't thought about that. Yeah, all of the different J.K. Simmons figures. That's great. One of the first things I did when I got up this morning, even while children were rampaging through the house, is I had to go and watch the new trailer for The Suicide Squad. Your excitement level on this may vary, and that's fine for various reasons. Yes, it's another movie from DC and Warner Brothers. It's James Gunn, which is going to be a different level of interest for different people. It is in the DC universe, but it stars a bunch of really obscure characters. I was very interested in this movie for a lot of different reasons, and that trailer was fantastic. And the reveal in that trailer toward the end of it made me laugh out loud. and I had to go back and watch it again. There's a character. I'm not gonna reveal it in case you want to go and look at it and watch it. But the big reveal at the end was just amazing. A character I never thought would make it into a DC movie, and it's fantastic. Oh, Darrow, yes, I pointed out the emote at the very top of the show, and how stream rather, and how awesome it is. Thank you so much. Yeah, I'm excited for it. I've liked most things that James Gunn has done. I'd say I'm a fan. And I mean, judging by everything we've seen so far, they just let him do whatever he wanted with this movie. I mean, that's what he always talks about. Is like he'll work on anything that he's excited about. Doesn't matter what company, as long as they give him free reign to do it. And it certainly seems like Marvel did that with him, and looks like DC did too. So, ooh, thank you, Darrow. Yeah, so go watch that trailer, and then we can talk about it. Yeah, I won't reveal it because I'm sure not everybody has seen it yet. And if you do want to talk about such things, and you're not in there already, although I gotta imagine by now all of you are, but join the Discord, Homebuddies Discord, because we have a film and TV room, and I posted a link to the trailer there this morning, so we could talk about it. Yeah, it'll looking back on this week and last week, it's going to be an interesting time for DC and Warner Brothers, because we just had the Snyder Cut. Now we have all this weird fallout from the Snyder Cut, with like these conversations about the first Suicide Squad movie and how people at least imagine that there's a hidden cut of that somewhere, or that the director David Ayers could make a new one of that would be substantially different. And do people really want that, and all this other stuff, and then with this trailer coming out, it's an interesting time. Technically, starting today, the convention WonderCon is happening online. Yeah, DC fans are very strange. In some ways, they've had a rough go of it over the years.
Because I want to limit your party time, so after lunch, when I need some time to get ready.
So yeah, WonderCon is happening right now. Obviously not in person, which, is sad. Whenever WonderCon happens, I'm gonna be there with a booth to sell my book. I paid for that booth for last year. Didn't happen last year. Didn't happen this year. We'll see about next year. But in theory, actually, I didn't check it, but in theory, there's a listing for my book in the WonderCon on the WonderCon website with all this stuff. I haven't checked to see if it's actually on there, but one day WonderCon will happen again, and then I'll be there. All right, so continuing on with the Chariot, and there are all of these spiky frames that go around this, but I don't know. I cut off the pieces without matching them up first, which I should have done. Oh wow, interesting. It just sort of like wraps around the outside. Let's see. Oh yeah, and between the DC movies and the DC TV shows, it's all that is very like split personality stuff. Entirely different teams. Okay, so this sprue is the same, so I should be able to look at, figure it out from this way. Alright, so the 45 is on this side, and it angles, which way? That way. Yeah, actually, because what I realized after I built this last time is that it's not exactly straight, if you can tell. So I gotta bend it a little bit. But that should be okay because I am adding more pieces to the bottom. Arsenal Roy 2K, thank you so much for that. I really appreciate it. And that's it. That fills it up. Something I wanted to talk about. So let me just catch up on. Yeah, DC fans are. We are an odd bunch at times. I think it was it Hector who posited the question a couple last week or the week before about what was it about? It was about DC characters versus Marvel characters. Not like who's better or anything like that, but it was more of like why do we see so many different incarnations of DC characters? I think it was something like that. I can't remember what the exact words were, but it was really interesting, and I think it has to do with how long that DC stuff has been around a little bit longer. They've had a little bit of a they've done some different things with their characters over the years than Marvel has. Marvel has this sliding time scale. DC, to an extent, of course, does that as well. But, yeah, interesting. Okay, we can get back to DC later or another time. Zardoz, awesome. Oh, I love the Robotech dice. Yeah, what was it? Did I get them on? I think I got on eBay. I think I bought more, and of course, I have the dice from not one, not two, but three of the box sets, and then I went and bought some more as well. Welcome Zenblade. So yes, if you look up there, thanks to Arsenal Roy 2K and some other friendly people, I will be building a knight. I've been doing a lot of research into the knights, and they're very interesting, especially in some ways that Games Workshop wants you to spend a lot of money on their stuff, which should come as no surprise to any of us. Well, Zardoz, remember, this was a Kickstarter, and the Kickstarter... So I didn't buy 3 box sets in the Kickstarter. I bought 1 box set and a million other things. Thank you so much, Hawk RMB, for the subscription. 2 months. I appreciate it. Oh, and it looks like the official Keanu Reeves followed me 9 hours ago. So if you're out there, thank you so much for that. I have not read your new Berserker comic book, but I hear good things. Oh, Zenblade, awesome. I'm glad to hear that. Alright, so essentially what we got here is so this is the base of this chariot part that goes on to this part here, and these sort of ring it and attach, but there's no specific attachment point. It just kind of, there's like a, oh man, I need another hand. So there's a little bit of an indentation that hugs the rim, and then it just, hold on to that. Yeah, so for those of you who don't remember the Robotech Kickstarter business, they promised a lot. You could pay for a lot of stuff, and a lot of it never actually came about. So in the end, they let you trade in essentially to get credit for stuff that they announced they just would never be able to produce, and you could get more of the Wave 1 stuff. So I ended up getting extra things that way. So that's why I have so many starter boxes. Because it was either that or not get anything for that money, and I figured, well, I might as well get something. And you better believe there were people who were like, no, I'd rather get nothing. I was like, okay, that's fine. Because you're literally not going to get anything. There's not... Yeah, you can't sue for Kickstarter's gone wrong. You can call it Better Business Bureau, but that's not really going to get you anywhere. Read the terms of service. There's really not much you can do. Anyway. Knights. Okay, so in the world of Warhammer 40k, there are knights. Now, if you're not familiar with them, and I'm sure most of you are, but not everybody, knights are giant robots piloted by humans, for the most part. And they are, of course, ancient technology. Yeah, all the... everything that happened between Palladium and Ninja Division, that stuff in and itself could probably fill up a book. So knights are ancient technology. They still sort of barely work in 40k, but a lot of the technology, a lot of the knowledge has been lost. They're not as big as Titans, so Titans are the biggest form of war machine for humans in general. But let's see if this interesting. Well, it doesn't quite line up, but it's close. And knights come in a bunch of different varieties. They have close combat knights that wield giant chain swords and huge power fists and claws. There are a lot of long-range weapons on these knights, and yeah, they're pretty cool. For a long time... Oh, and then of course you can play knights as quote-unquote good guys, Imperium of Man, and quote-unquote bad guys, Chaos. Now, for a long time, the only knight models you could get were pretty much just the good guy models, and then to make a bad guy one, either you'd have to convert it or buy some special stuff from Forge World. Now, over the last few years, Games Workshop has added a bunch of Chaos Knight kits, which is great. They've got lots of spikes, lots of exposed inner hardware, skulls, all that kind of stuff, which is super neat. Unfortunately, not every kit comes with, well, yeah, Eridan's good guys with heavy quotation marks and lots of irony. So as happens sometimes with Games Workshop, not every kit comes with every part that you could possibly need to build the different versions of that unit. And this is one of those times. And as it turns out, in the current meta, whatever, the best loadouts for the Chaos Knights simply cannot be built with the Chaos Knight kits. And so it is. Technically, to build the best, according to the meta, which, whatever, to build the best version of a Chaos Knight, you would have to buy, not only does it have to be an Imperium kit, so you would have to customize the hell out of it to turn it into a Chaos one, but it is what it is. But not only would you have to buy one, you would have to buy two. $250-odd kits to make one knight, and you'd have to do a whole bunch of conversion work on it. So not ideal. But in talking with people like Zardoz and some other friends of mine who are in this hobby and doing these sorts of things, I realized that this actually is a really good opportunity for me to... Oh, Tiny Chris, 100%. That is one of the really interesting things about the lore and the universe is there are no good guys. Yeah, it's all shades of gray, as Zarda says. There are some that are better, but even the factions that people like to look at and say, "Oh, those are good guys." Like, well, here's a list of reasons why they're not. Why you might not consider them actually good guys. But I think that's one of the reasons why I think the setting is cool. I think it is a little bit more, maybe in some ways it's more realistic, because in our real world, oftentimes, especially in conflicts, sometimes it's kind of hard to tell who the good guys are. Anyway, so what I've realized, this is a grand opportunity for me, is to look beyond the strictures of what might come in any individual kit, and look to the future and the internet and mainly 3D printing. Because what I can do is I can get a knight model kit So it'll come with all the cool, spiky, scratched up skull parts that I'm gonna want, right, for the decoration, and then I can turn to 3D printing for getting the arm attachment, so I can have it have two long range weapon arms, which again does not come in any of the actual Chaos Knight kits. And then instead of building the specific guns that you need to buy all of these separate kits for, I can get 3D printed like some cool custom stuff. So again, this knight is going to be a supplement unit to my Emperor's Children, and my Emperor's Children, and so many Emperor's Children are all about noise, right? Sonic weapons. So somebody has made really, really cool sonic weapon 3D models, and she scaled them to literally every scale of model that you could have in your army. Everything from Marine size to Titan size and everything in between. So she has two different versions for Knight arms. So I think we can do that. And as one of my other friends said, magnets are key for building knights. So I'm going to magnetize the hell out of it, build as many of the different options as come in the kit that I'm getting and any other ones. So yeah, I'm really excited. I think it's going to be really cool. I'm going to look around bits that I have, other models that I have, see what I can add to an interchange. Knights are really good for customization because they are so big and they have just really broad armor, things that you can stick on and off. So yeah, it's not a piece game. This is true. Builder Us 3D printer game, awesome. Yeah, 3D printing is like just blowing up everything. The coffee table size models. Oh, that reminds me. I have pictures that were shared in one of the Facebook groups that I'm in, and I wanted to show everybody. What are these weird messages? Yes, so Tiny Chris, you can do an army of just knights, and typically that's going to be 3 to 5 models only, but they're huge. For the most part. So most of the knights are about this tall. They're about like what, 10 to 12 inches tall, but they did add some mini knights that are only about 5 or 6 inches tall, so you can sort of mix and match. But yes, you can play just knights. They're expensive, but you only have a couple models. So could you give it a sonic screwdriver? I am sure somebody has made a 3D printed or a 3D model of a sonic screwdriver that you could scale to that. Oh, interesting, Zardoz. Okay, that's cool. Yeah, I know that, like I said, I know people do a lot of magnetization with that. Okay, so hold on. Let me get these pictures real quick before I forget again. So somebody posted on a Facebook group that he was working on Titans. So much bigger than Knights, but the Titans, the Forge World models that are very large and very expensive. And he said, he's built, this guy does it, he does commissions, and his work is amazing. I've been watching this guy for years, and he does entire army commissions. People will give him $10,000, and this guy will get a bunch of Titans from Games Workshop. He'll build them, he'll paint the entire army, and then hand it off, and that's the entire project. It's remarkable what this guy does. So he took a picture of his bathtub filled with resin parts to make an entire maniple, an entire army of Titans. So I just put that in the Discord. It's ridiculous. I try to explain to my wife, like, looking at this picture, this is at least $5,000 worth of resin in that bathtub. And people were freaking out because it's all just jumbled in the tub, and everyone was like, well, how do you know what part goes to what? And I was like, okay, you haven't followed this guy. This guy has built so many Titans over the years. He knows every single part. But then what was really funny is that other people started commenting in the comments with other silly pictures, and somebody else posted a picture of the progress on his Tau Manta, and Eridance, that's what you were talking about the coffee table size model. So I also posted that picture. I saved it in here, but that's basically what it looks like. So, so that's the model in the bathtub just for that one, because that thing is gigantic. That's the most expensive. It gets complicated when you're trying to talk about the biggest, most expensive model from Forge World, because that model, the Tau Manta, it's 3.5 feet wide, so it's the biggest in some ways, and then the Warlord Titan is it's a little bit shorter than that, but it's tall, so it just depends on how you're measuring. But yeah, it's crazy, 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 crazy. These people doing these giant things. And remember that when you get resin, you have to clean the resin, and you have to get off all of the mold release. So for parts that are that big, or if you have that many parts, yeah, just toss them all in the tub and fill it up and then soak everything. Not a bad way to do it. So yeah, that's crazy, crazy time stuff. Very much money. Okay, so these should be dry enough that I can fiddle with the rest of it. Oh yeah, I wouldn't want to get in that tub with that resin and all that junky stuff. Savage Punch, thank you so much. 9-month streak. Appreciate that. We've got a new hype emote from Darrow. Okay, so these have tiny little grooves that in theory should line up, but which direction do they go? Do they go down or do they go up? It looks like they go down. So I'm going to glue it on just like that. Okay, cool. And it should work. Oh, I watched one of those videos of those people who melt down old action figures for fun. I don't know how I feel about that. It does make me sad. Hey, Hudsonizer. Welcome. It does make me sad to see action figures get melted down, even if they're old and whatever. And look, obviously, there are still a lot of Kenner Star Wars figures out there, and most of them are in pretty terrible condition. But you know, there are some collectors, who might want that, even if it's old and in a bad condition, just for nostalgia purposes, or they want to give it to a kid, Every figure you take out of circulation is going to affect someone in some way at some point. But what do I know? All right, so this is a pretty complicated page, because what we have here is eventually this page is going to build this. So it's got a set of wheels on the back, this basic chariot part attached to 2 seekers. But to do that, you have to build all of these things separate, and then they all come together here. So I got to make sure I do each thing in order. So this part's done here. So then I need to build the seeker here, and this wheel assembly here. Okay. Just keeping track of it in my own mind. And again, because these are the same sprues, I'll just try to work off of one. Yes, the hugs. Good hugs. Awesome, Zardoz. I appreciate that. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it, and I'd love to hear any and all suggestions, because I want to make it super, super cool. All right, I need parts 3, 4, and 5. 3, 4. All right, let's start cutting these out. Yeah. So today I have today I've got something going on, so I will need to be. It will be a not super short, but it won't be a long stream. I have an appointment for something that I'm not going to talk about now, but I'll talk about in the future. No, it's nothing crazy, but so I got something going on early this afternoon, and then I will not be streaming at all tomorrow. I thought I could do the War Room stream, but we are going to be too busy getting ready for Passover tomorrow night, which is then subsequently the reason why I will not be on the Homebuddies group stream tomorrow night. So there you have it. As we talked a little bit about on, what was it, on Tuesday? Tomorrow is the beginning of Passover. Very important holidays for us Jewish people. And like most of our holidays, it involves a lot of cooking and a lot of food. So we got to get ready for that for tomorrow night. Oh, and yes, also, depending on how much Homebuddies content you've been absorbing over the last week, I did get my Otamatones to work. So you can look forward to more of that. I won't I won't play a whole thing right now. And again, look, I'm not trying to be hipster about it. Not trying to be hipster, but I've had these bad boys for 11 years. When I met the creator of the Automaton in LA, when he came and did a whole thing with the launch of the Otamatones. So, I mean, it's cool that other people have them now, but you know, I was there first. I have pictures. not that I'm being a hipster about it, but yes, and I did leave. So I have two of them, and I did leave one with Jess. So at some point, you better believe there will be a Homebuddies Automaton concert, and I would not be offended if you did not show up for that. Because they are instruments. They're absolutely musical instruments. They are very hard to master because there's no. For those of you who haven't seen this or don't know what they are, essentially there's just this strip here, and when you apply pressure to it, it creates the tone, and then up and down. The thing is, like on a trombone, there's no markings or anything to know where you should stop for each of the notes. It's more like more like a trombone or a harmonica. You have to sort of know where to go and where to stop. Hence, it's difficult. Right? Yeah, exactly. And some like string instruments. So to know where each note is and to remember, you either have to do a lot of practice, or like trombone players, there's certain kinds of cheats you can do. Like with your other finger, you can sort of measure how far you are and remember where that is to hit each note. But it's tough. You gotta actually do a lot of practice. My Otamatones came with, I don't have them anymore, but it came with a sheet of paper where you actually put the Automaton down, and it had like a little diagram to show where the different notes were, so you could learn it that way. But I don't have that anymore. And yes, so as ear-piercing and annoying as these can sound individually, a group of them, my God, there are, I mean, I'm sure now there are a billion videos on YouTube, but when we first got these, there were not that many. Listening to a group of people play the song Green Sleeves on Otamatones will haunt me for the rest of my days. And yes, as Arsenal Roy 2K, it'll be even better because we're all remote, and it's going to be fantastic. This might be a good stream to check out if you're hearing impaired. Oh my goodness. So yeah, Otamatones, definitely a thing. And again, in the old days when we got ours, they were only available in the standard size and in black and white. Now, of course, another company has the license to make them. They've added characters, they've added different colors. There are larger and smaller versions. It's a whole different world of Otamatones now. Oh, well, I promised I wouldn't give spoilers, but this does remind me of something in the Suicide Squad trailer. Yeah, there's so many horrifically annoying singing and musical toys. Even the ones that don't seem so bad, once they're in your house and you're hearing them incessantly, yeah, it turns bad. Oh, Zardoz, that is not surprising to me. Because, of course, you, like me, are a man of culture, and you will have seen one of the greatest fantasy films, nay, one of the greatest films, period, of all time, Krull. And if you disagree with me, I will fight you on this. Okay, so these have little notches. They should fit together. Oh, there we go. There's the lock. Now remember, we have to make the distinction here. We're not talking about cull, K-U-L, here. Cull, less than Krull. Okay, keep that in mind. No, I will fight on this one. Krull is a great movie. One of the coolest. Okay, well, now, Rabbit Wombat, I can understand that. I can understand there being an element of it that freaked you out when you were little. I get that. That's different. But Krull is a great movie. Liam Neeson is in that movie. The great Liam Neeson's. I mean, he was like 10 years old, practically. He was just a background character. Oh, it's so good. Yeah, Krull is a fantasy movie from 80... What year was that? 80... Mid-80s. It's amazing. I think it's very rewatchable. It has a lot of... well, I talked about this when I did my stream about the heroic journey, the hero's journey, because that movie is all of... Ooh, that's not the right way. It has all of the elements of the prototypical hero's journey. And, yeah, it's great. 83, okay, cool. So a little bit earlier. Oh, it's so good. Oh, really? Arsenal Royal, you've never seen it? That's interesting. I think you'd like it. From what I've seen of your eclectic movie tastes and how you appreciate older things that, you know, may have aged to some degree, I really do recommend it. It has some really good actors in the movie doing some neat stuff. It has a character who's very much like an Obi-Wan. They're wizard. I mean, it's a cool movie. It's neat. And it has what Zardoz was referring to here with this spiky thing. There's a very iconic weapon, a magical quest weapon in that movie. Unfortunately, it doesn't turn out to be all that useful in the movie. That's sort of a running joke among people who've seen the movie, but it looks really cool. Yeah, Liam Neeson was in a lot of weird random stuff. Okay, I need a hubcap. 24. Well, I wonder. I don't know. I don't know Cameron's thoughts on Krull. I don't know if he's seen it or what he thinks about it. Maybe we could do a watch along one day. I'd love to hear his thoughts on it. I rewatch that movie periodically. Because I love it. Genuinely, unironically, I love that movie. Yeah, we can talk about it. Oh, you have seen Crawl, not Call. Oh, okay, got it. Oh, sorry, Arsenal. Glancing up and down, I missed the nuance of the comment. Well, good. Yeah, Call is garbage. Don't worry about that one. Okay, so this spiky thing goes this way. Sadly, there were no action figures made from Krull. There was a board game. It didn't have figures though. It was all like paper components. At some point though, somebody made. There is a little figure out there of the Beast from Krull, and I don't know. It looks like a game, like it came in some kind of a game. I'm not sure exactly where it comes from, but I've seen recasters do fun things with that, like recasting in different resin colors. If you go on Etsy, for some reason, there are a bunch of them on Etsy, or there were a little while ago. But yeah, no action figures, which is a bummer. And you better believe, because I am a hardcore Krull fan, all the Krull main characters are in this book. All of them. Well, as many as... I didn't make a lot of entries that were just for, like, if a name is only in that movie and not in anything else, well, I may not have included everyone, but what was the one that I really liked that I put in here? Oh yeah, so I did a whole entry for Ergo the Wizard, because he has such a great character, great lines. It's also one that I use for examples when I talk about when I do like whatchamacallit, when I do talks about names and how naming can be fun and getting inspiration for names. But I like to talk about how one of the ways you can spice up a name is by adding epithets to it, because epithets are awesome. And Ergo the Wizard has a great string of epithets that he uses in that movie. So I love it. Right, exactly, Erdansk. Ergo, you can buy the book. No, there's never been a toy. There have been models that were made, and then, of course, there's a bunch of 3D printed stuff out there. But yeah, no official toy. At least not that I can recall. Not that I've seen. Andre, Wendell, and Rico. Yeah. Namaste. That's good. Okay, so attaching. Oh my god, every piece of this needs all of these little wheels and spinny things. Okay, I need piece number 8. I don't want to get these mixed up. It should be this one, and all these pieces look the same. No, there's no Andre 3000 in the book, unfortunately. Ooh, Wellington, Pam, and Gilly. Oh, there's some good ones, too. Oh, Wellington, who you will know if you've been listening to our Dune readings. As a name from Dune. Pam, not so much. I don't think there's been a Pam. Okay, so each one of these has a circular indentation with a little notch in it that helps add everything together. Like so. And cool. Oh, Avery Rose. That's cute. Yeah, Avery's not in the book. There are some Avery characters out there, but yeah, they were either secondary characters or oh, I mean, come on. You got to have Vecna. Vecna is not only one of the original D&D deities when we got into like the big deities in Forgotten Realms and stuff, but Vecna became so much even more popular and more well known with Critical Role. So, it's a thing. I had to make some hard choices. Yeah, Rand is in the book for sure. Mainly, I will say, a lot because Rand is also in Robotech, so I had multiple characters to discuss for that one. A couple Rands with different spellings as well, if I'm remembering correctly. Look, I mean, there were limits to how many names I could include in the book. Or how many entries, rather. So, in a lot of cases, I had to prioritize entries that had more than one reference for a name, and then the single reference names had to be major, well-known characters, or just like my favorites. So, they're not everything is going to be in there. Oh, thank you so much, official Keanu Reeves. I love it. And I got my water. I'm staying hydrated. Hudsonizer, there is a smattering of Wheel of Time names in the book for sure. Well, look, I couldn't include everybody. Moira, Billy, Yuna, all really important names. And again, who knows? Maybe there might be further additions one day. Or a new volume. You never know. Greedo, Zira, Susan, all good. I know, one of these days I should try Wheel of Time again. I don't know that I tried. I don't know that I gave it, like, the most fair try. I could try again. Well, don't try every name. That's true, Ardence. There is also a TV show coming. Okay, so next I need 16, 15, 14. Well, that's easier. 16. Oh, and I guess I would be remiss if I didn't say that the best way to see if a name is in the book is to buy the book. No, but that's great, and that was Okay, so 16, 15 should be the other big one here. Good. I like this kind of model building, where yes, it is a bunch of fiddly pieces, but it's very clear in the instructions and the numbers which one is which, and they all fit together really well. Because nothing ruins a model more like parts that don't fit together, or the instructions are unclear. That stuff gets really annoying. 2, 3, 4, go. All right. I'm actually almost done with this axle wheel assembly. Very, very good question, Tiny Chris. In the older model kits, the parts are not numbered. The numbering is more of a recent thing. And as I was saying in here, even if, so in this kit, you can see, but it's going to focus. Well, anyway, there are numbers. So these parts are numbered. These instructions are numbered, which parts go where. But they're not always numbered. So here, there are no numbers. Now, it was fairly clear once I figured out the right sprue that I was working with, where that like the main body was near where those other little parts were, but not always. It's not always super clear. But yeah, like I said, in the more recently released kits, everything is numbered, thankfully. Oh my god, and the in the pictorial instructions, Zardoz, one of these days we should go and find. We could do a little evolution of Warhammer model instructions, because my god, were the instructions bad in the olden days. They were just black and white, and they had these really weird little almost exploded views of a model, but it was impossible to tell like the depth perception and where things go, and there were no words, so it didn't say like do this before this, and you couldn't tell how things fit together. Some of the old models were a nightmare because of that. We've come a long way. Yeah, that would be a funny retrospective, and I'm sure we could pull all those images just online. With all these spikes, I'm also trying not to ruin my nails. Oh, interesting, Zardoz. I mean, there's going to be a switchover as they rebox everything. So hopefully it's just that. Let's be hopeful. Although I know they sold out of that new box. Was it Piety and Pain or whatever that sold out in like 2 minutes? Okay, where's the notch? Notch beam. Okay, there we go. Whew. And then in theory, this should fit. Nope, not that way. This way. Good. And I just need to cap it at the end. Look at how well this is going together. Oh, famous last words, right? There we go. Nice. Yeah, I'm really thinking it's just because they're reboxing. They got to get the cool new artwork, cool new box design, and that things will be back. Ooh, thank you so much, Henry Cavill. Yeah, we my littlest one, Maximilian, wanted to do nails last night. I said, I'll get in on that action. Let's do it. What am I painting? So I do not. I will admit I have thought of doing Adeptus Custodes, but I have not dabbled in that army. The models are really cool. Okay, and that completes. Well, and also the painting on that army is pretty easy if you, depending on what color scheme. Just lay down that gold, put some accents on it, and you're good to go. So this, look at that. Look, I completed this wheel axle assembly thing. So what happens is this goes on the back of this. Look at that. We're making a chariot. Makes sense, right? And then I just need to build the creatures that attach up here to the front to pull the chariot. Wait, no, that would not be the right sound because they are two-legged. I don't know. You get the idea, though. Cool. This wombat is a great person. That is for sure. Yo, yeah. Well, I mean, the creatures that are riding on this chariot are all about pleasure and pain, and the two all mixed up, and one coming from the other, and vice versa. So yeah, so they might like it a little rough, you might say. Very cool. Well, I've accomplished that, so I am happy. Yeah. So next time, continue. So the seekers are pretty easy. These creatures to pop together, so that'll be pretty simple. And then, so then what happens is the central part just gets expanded out even further, and then you add more spikes, and then even further and further until it's this giant monstrosity of all these spiked wheels, and then it'll be 4 creatures pulling it, and then you attach the ladies who ride on top. That's it. Well, so these are the Slaaneshi demons and the demonettes that are going to be riding on this thing, and there are certain similarities between the Drukhari and the Slaanesh characters as far as what they're into, the kinks, the fun stuff. Cool. Oh, the BDSM. I mean, yeah, again, both of them could qualify for sure. So yeah, so the standard size, the regular demonettes, and then the demonettes on the seekers, and then this will be the big chariot to go with them. Yeah, exactly, Tiny Chris. You do you. Whatever you're into. As long as it's consenting adults, it's all good. All good. Okay, so like I said, unfortunately I do need to get going here in just a minute because I have an appointment. Yeah, so I will not be on any streams tomorrow. I apologize, but it is the way it is. And but I'll be around online, of course, on the Discord. Get in there on the Discord. I want to talk about the Suicide Squad trailer and what was revealed in it. My God. Oh, I want to talk about it so much. Tiny Chris, for the most part, Yeah, we went to the kosher store a couple days ago and got the vast majority. So I think now we just need to get like some fruits and vegetables, and then of course to see if there's any fun things out there. Hudson has you 4 hours to revise a short story, write a poem, and review 4 poems. Well, I wish you luck, and I know you can do it. Just buckle down, focus. Tiny Chris, you've done nothing. Hey, I mean, it's, you usually by this point it's like, oh my god, we got to go out and do all of this stuff. We had a specific plan to do some of it earlier this week, so that Chris, excuse me, ooh, excuse me, so that Chris could take Benjamin to the store, and we wanted to do that on a day when we thought it would be much less crowded. But yeah, otherwise we're pretty last minute with that stuff too. Okay, everyone, have an awesome rest of your Friday. Have a great weekend, everybody. And like I said, I'll be online. I just won't be streaming tomorrow. And yeah, catch not Homebuddies, Heartbeats tonight, 6:00 Pacific, over on the Ripley Improv channel. Yes, and Tiny Chris, you guys have a happy Passover as well. Rabbit Wombat, do your homework. All right, everybody, I'm out of here. Have a great one. I'll talk to you on the internets, and I'll be back on Monday. Okay, bye.